Welcome back, guys, to another session on our Packet Tracer activities. Today, we are going to learn how we can troubleshoot a wireless local area network. So as usual, we have our addressing table over here, which is more like a documentation that contains our interfaces that we are making use of and the IP address that is assigned to every interface. So we also have the WLAN information, such as the home network, the SSID that is assigned to it, the authentication method used, the username, and then the password. The same thing applies to the enterprise network, the authentication method, and the authentication method use the username and then the username password. So in this activity, we will troubleshoot various issues in home wireless and enterprise wireless network. So troubleshooting wireless LAN connectivity issue in home network, troubleshoot wireless local area network connectivity in an enterprise network. So let's look at the scenario so that we can have a better understanding of what we are trying to achieve. So now that you have learned how to configure wireless in home and enterprise network, you need to learn how to troubleshoot in both wireless environments. Your goal is to enable connectivity between the host on the network to the web server by both IP address and URL. So connectivity between the home and enterprise network is not required. So we are not required to try any connectivity between this particular network to this particular network. So note that you will only be troubleshooting the home wireless router. So we will be troubleshooting only the home wireless router, the WLC, the wireless local area network controller over here, and then the wireless host devices in the activity. So on all these necessary devices in this particular activity is what we are going to focus on. So first we have to test the connectivity to see whether we can be able to reach the web server by visiting the web server domain name. So we'll start from the let's start from the tablet PC. So from the tablet PC, we'll go to the desktop and then click on the browser, then type in the domain name of the web server that we have over here. So we have www.netarcade.pt and then press enter. And you can notice that we have host name unresolved. That means we are not able to reach the web server with its host name. So that means we are unable to have access to the URL of the web server by the name, right? So let's do the same thing. Before we go ahead, let's try to check whether we can also ping the web server using an IP address since we can't reach it with its host name. So we are trying to ping 203.0.113.78 and see whether the pinging will go. So due to the delay, it seems we are also not able to reach the web server using this particular IP address that we have over here, right? So now I'll go to the next device, the smartphone, and then try out the same thing. I'll go to the desktop web browser and then see if I can be able to reach the web server through the domain name. So I'll do the same thing, www.netarcade.pt, and then click on the go, and let's see if you are able to reach it. While the other one is also continuing, we can see that it is having timeout, which means we are also not able to reach the web server using the IP address. So for this www.netarcade.pt, it's going to have some kind of delay, and then I think it has finished loading. So let's wait for it a bit. So while it is still loading, let's try to check whether we can also reach it through the use of the laptop, right? So now we'll go to our desktop command prompt and then do the same. Okay, sorry, the web browser, and then try to reach out the web server using the domain name. So I have www.netarcade.pt and then press enter. So let's see if you are able to do that. Then the other parts are still loading. So let me just use the simulation to fast forward the method, and then we are going to fast forward everything to see the final outcome, because sometimes it will be delaying, capturing, and then let's observe what we have. So for this already, we know that it is not able to reach it. That is for the smartphone. And then for the laptop also, we are not able to reach it. And finally, for the tablet, we already know that we're also not able to reach it. So let's see now for the laptop. whether we can reach it through the what? The pinging command. So go to the command prompt and try to ping 203.0.113.78. So we can fast forward that. So let me do it on the tablet, which I've already done. Then on the laptop, so I'll do the same thing. So I'll ping 203.0.113.78 and see if I can reach it. So with this, I'll fast forward again and see what is going on to see whether we can be able to reach the web server with its own IP address, since the name host name is not able to be resolved. And definitely we know that whenever host name is not able to resolve, that means DNS is not working properly as required. So let's stop and go back to the real time and see what we have. So for this one, we have a timeout on the laptop. For the tablet, we have timeout, and then for the smartphone also we have the timeout, which means they are not able to reach the web server. So that is a particular problem. Our smartphone, our tablet PC, and our laptop on the home router are unable to access the URL of the server by name, right? So they are also not able to reach it by the what? By the IP address. So let's first confirm whether they have a appropriate IP address. So let's go to the IP address configuration. And then you can see that this one is 192.168.0.2, which means it has a correct IP address. But the DNS server, let's confirm it before we move on. So what is the actual DNS server we have over here? Our DNS server is 10.100.100.254, which is not correct. It is showing us .25250. And since we are using DHCP, that means we need to correct it on the home router. But our IP address is definitely correct. That is for the what? For the smartphone. And for our tablet, we do the same thing. Go to the IP configuration, and you notice that even the tablet does not have an IP address. So we need to let it obtain an IP address from the web server. And definitely, you know that the DNS server is still having issue. So it has been assigned the .5, which means everything is correct over there. And then for our laptop, let's check that too. Have the IP configuration, and we have assigned .4, and our DNS server is also not correct. So definitely it's because of the DNS server that we are not able to reach, because it is having the .254 while we are having .250 on it. If you observe the DNS server over here, right? So we are going to correct those issues. And for us to successfully configure that problem, we need to connect the admin PC to our router. And then let's check if the admin PC have a necessary IP address that we can use to log into the router. So go to the desktop IP configuration, and it seems it does not have an IP address. So we can ask it also to obtain an IP address dynamically, or we can type it statistically, so any one of our choice. But if you notice it is obtaining an IP address, let's try to reconfigure it again and see if it's going to obtain it properly. So let's just type it manually. So let's use the 192.168.0. Let me use 10, 255.255, and 192.168.0.1 as our default gateway. We don't need the server, so we are not configuring that. So from here now, we'll log into the web browser to connect to our home router. So we can visit our home router on https://192.168.0.1, and then we can click on the go. So our password is Cisco, as we have been told. Cisco, our username is Cisco, and then we can click on the OK. So it seems the password is not correct, and let's see that. So the WLC, okay, for the WLC, for the home wireless router, username and password is admin. So that means we use admin, and then we log into the home router. So we know one of the problems we are facing currently is that we have the, what is it called? The DNS server is correctly, wrongly configured. So we have to change this one to 254 based on the IP address table we have over here. That is for the DNS server. So we have to change it to 254. So that's why we are putting 10.100.100.254 to correct that. And also remember, we are not able to reach the server. And if you observe here properly, since we are using static IP address, but unfortunately, we are connecting to a cable modem, which means we should be obtaining our IP address automatically. Or we can change this one to automatic configuration and then save our configuration after we must have done with all the changes. So we'll save the setting, and it, as expected, is going to log us out. And then, so let's just wait for it to load. And then we can now try to reconnect back to the web server. So you can see the timeout. So now let's try to reconnect back. So if it is still loading, it might not enable us to connect quickly. So you can see it is still loading. That's why we are not able to connect quickly. We can facilitate that by using the simulation mode, and then we'll go back, and then we are back in it. So you can see it's now using the auto configuration DSP to obtain the IP address on the internet service provider. And then maximum number of users on our network is assigned to be 5. So that's why the other device 1, 2, 3, 4 that we are trying to connect is not getting the IP address. And then the range is 1 to 5. This one has been corrected. So now let's see if we can be able to reach the various home devices. Go back to our web server, right? So from the web server, let's see now if we can be able to reach the web server from the web browser. So now we have www.netarcade.pt. So let's wait for it to load. We can facilitate it using the simulation so that we can be able to reach it as early as possible. And now if you go back, it is still loading. So let me just put it upward and then continue the facilitation mode. So now we are able to successfully reach the web server. So we can go back to simulation mode, real time, and then we can try it from the other devices also. Go to our web browser and then try to reach the web server. All right. So we'll do the same thing, www.netarcade.pt, and then host name unresolved until now on the smartphone. So why is the smartphone showing host name not resolved? So let's try to check it, the IP configuration of the smartphone. Okay, we have DNS has been corrected, IP address properly assigned, and then it's showing us this. So let's go to the browser again and refresh. What is the problem? So it is a bit delaying, but we are sure at least one of the devices is able to reach the web server. So now let's type it again, www.netarcade.pt. And then let's see what we're having. And now it is able to reach it. So probably earlier we typed the wrong IP address. So we have resolved the issue with the home router. So let's move on to the wireless device. So currently now you can see that the it's not detecting the access point, the lightweight access point we have over here. So let's see if we can be able to detect it from here. We'll go to desktop, PC wireless, and then try to connect. So let's refresh if you are able to connect. And we will notice that it is not detecting anything over here. So let's go to our wireless device and see what is the problem. So to configure the wireless device, we need to use our admin PC to log into the WLC. So we'll go to our desktop web browser, and then the IP address of the WLC is 192.168.200.254, right? So let's wait for the web browser to load. All right, so now we'll type the https://192.168.200.254. That is the IP address of our WSC, so we can log in. So the login is admin and the Cisco 123. So since our WSC, we can't be able to see our access points, we need to check the configuration on our WSC to know what is going on. All right, so over here, let's go to the wireless access local area network directly to see what we have over there based on the configuration. So let's just wait for it to load. And then we can see that we have two SSID as indicated on our this particular point. We have the SSID 10 and the SSID 20. For this one, the authentication method is PSK2 personal, and this one is enterprise. So let's see if that meets the configuration we have here. So let's go to the wireless LAN 10 first by clicking on the wireless ID. So it's loading a bit very slow. So let's just wait for it. And also, if you observe over here, one of them is disabled, which is supposed to be enabled. So you can see this one is enabled. We have wireless WLAN 10, and then over here, everything is okay. SSID 10, WAPA 2 auth. So remember that WLAN 10 is supposed to be used WAPA 2 personal. So it seems it is using WAPA 2 auth. So we have to correct that. So the WAPA AES, and we're supposed to enable the PSK instead of the WAPA 2 auth because we need the PSK on it. So then we can go down. The password, we are not sure if it is correct, but we know that definitely we're supposed to have the Cisco 123. So let's copy that and use it to replace what we have over here. Then we can now go to the advanced, see if our, okay, they are both enabled. The Flex Connect switching and the Flex Connect auth are both enabled. So apart from that, the security, we don't have any other thing to set. Then we can now click on the apply to save our setting. So once this one successfully changed to PSK, we should know that we have done the correct configuration over there. So it is still loading. Let's wait for it to load. Okay. So let me just pause it while it is loading so that the recording will not just be going on here. So remember, whenever we're making any changes, it's definitely going to bring up this, and then we just need to click on OK to apply the changes, right? So we leave it to load back again. And now, as soon as the changes are okay, it's definitely going to change this one to WAPA 2 personal. So let's wait for it a bit. And then Cisco 123, let me see this. Have laptop. Our radio server IP address is this. Admin PC is this. Web server, laptop, tablets. Okay. Switch 1, VLAN 200, 192. So let's see what we have. So this one has changed successfully to WAPA 2 PSK. And that is a successful completion on that part. So we know that we are not using any server, and then we can move out of this particular interface. So let's go to the second one that we even notice that it is disabled. So we need to enable that. So we just need to check the configuration against our documentation. Definitely, we know that there's a problem on it. So we need to select the second one, which is the wireless 2. If you notice over here, it is disabled and it is using the auth 02 that is required. So we just need to confirm the server configuration and the rest, right? All right, so for this one now, let's go through the settings. We have to make sure that we enable this. Remember, we said that always try to enable it and don't forget. For the security, everything is okay, AES and this, right? Then we can go to the 3A server. Let's compare the IP address with what we have over here. That is for the radio server. The IP address is 172.1.1254 on ports 1812. So this one is correct. For the layer 2, we don't have any security setting over here. For the advanced, the Flex Connect are properly set. And then the policy, we don't have any issue with the quality of service. And then we can click on apply to save our changes. So now let's try to connect the two laptops to the devices. So after this one must have saved, we need to go back to the laptop and try to connect it to the various devices. So we'll collect laptop 1, wireless LAN 10, PSK SSID 10 for the laptop 1, and for the laptop 2, we use the WLAN 20. So let's connect the WLAN 10 to the wireless access point 10. I think the other one is still saving, so that we'll be sure of what we are trying to do. So this is for the laptop. And then the saving of this one, I think it's still loading. So let it finish loading a bit. Let me pause it while it is loading. All right, to save our configuration, we just have to click on this OK to accept, knowing that it's going to disconnect and reconnect back, right? So we are done with that. So we can exit this particular interface now. And now let's try to connect our laptop 1, desktop, PC wireless, and let's see what we have. So we'll go to connect, refresh, and let it wait for to bring out the wireless network for the that's so there's always some kind of delay on the network. So there's still delay in this particular part. It's still not showing out the. Remember, we experienced the same thing when we are configuring it, so but probably it might be the issue from the packet tracer. So let me just move on from this. And then let's try to connect the laptop 2. Remember, for the laptop 2, we'll be using the VLAN 20. So for the laptop 2, we'll be trying to make sure that we are using VLAN 20. We'll go to the PC wireless. Then we'll try to connect to, let's check the various profile that we have under the VLAN 20. So we can see we have the VLAN 20 SSID. So let's go through the information and see what configuration is there already. So let's wait for it. But I think we might need to skip this particular part. So just in case it is not loading on time to avoid taking much time of the video. You can see definitely we have the, but when we try to connect, it is not going to allow us to connect. So you can see security disabled. It's not allowing us to connect. And that's why we have to make sure that we are editing it. And then it's supposed to show the same name over here, but it's not bringing it up. Let me fast forward a bit. Maybe it's going to show up. Just want this to refresh and show up the profile name over here. Sure, we experience the same problem when we are configuring the wireless network when it is delaying to connect, right? So I'm thinking maybe probably the same error over here. It is not displaying the name as required, so that might be an error from Packet Tracer. So, but definitely we just needed to show us the profile name over here so that we can have a proper check on the setting and correct it if there is need. All right, so we just have to leave it over here, but we have done the most important aspect of it. Let's check our results to see where the problem is coming from. So we can see we have resolved the home wireless, the DNS IP address, the port number. For the home wireless router, our laptop 2 is on the home wireless router. So basically that is just about it. The WLC WLAN 10 has been corrected and WLAN 20 has been corrected. The tablet PC 10 has been corrected. Then laptop 2, wireless security mode, the user ID is incorrect and we are not able to do that because it is not loading up. So we just have to leave the laptop 2. That is the only part that will enable us to complete this particular part. So in case if you do it on your own end, and if you it connects, you can easily just configure the user ID and correct it over here. So let me see next. Next, WAPA 2, then user ID 2. You can see over here, that is where we are actually coming to correct. From what we have over here, you can see it's user 2, and the password is user 2 pass. So we can copy that and make sure that it is the correct thing over here. And then we can click on next and then save the configuration. So you can observe we have 100% connection. So connect to network. Let's observe if it's going to refresh and bring our network now. So now it's not showing due to the delay that we are having, but it's supposed to show and connect. Okay, so but definitely that is just how we can troubleshoot our network. I believe you are able to see how we are able to complete the tasks. Let me go to the PC wireless again. Connect, refresh. Okay, profile. Okay, security disabled. The interface. All right, so that will be the end of this particular packet tracer activity. I hope you are able to understand how you can be able to troubleshoot a wireless local area network. So thank you very much until we meet in the next practical session.